Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to your Lunch Break Live. My name is Ivana Harinkyu if you are new here, and if you're not, thank you for coming back. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. It is Monday, though. Again, it is Monday, March the 21st, and today we are talking about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. We're coming on here almost a month into this invasion, into this war, and today I'm joined by our reporter, Paul Gaddis. Now, Paul wrote a story over the weekend about a company in Huntsville that is based out of Huntsville and has operations in Kyiv in Ukraine, and they are working to evacuate their employees to make sure that their employees and their families are safe and get out of the war-torn areas if they choose to do so. So Paul is joining me today to talk a little bit about this, and there's also some information in this article that Paul wrote over the weekend about how you can help. So we're going to talk about that as well. Paul, thank you for joining me today to go over this a little bit, break this down. And this was a fascinating story, I think, because so many people in Alabama feel really disconnected from what is happening overseas in Ukraine because it is so far away. But this story really brought it home a little bit, saying, look, we've got this company in Huntsville and they've got employees in Kyiv. So tell me a little bit about the company, about its operations in Ukraine.
So the company is Discovery Life Sciences. And that right there puts me behind the eight ball because I can barely spell science, much less explain what they actually do. They are their office in Huntsville, which is their headquarters, is on the campus of Hudson Alpha, which we all know is a premier research facility, and they have there's a lot of companies that works sort of under the Hudson Alpha umbrella. I don't know if Discovery is technically one of those, but they are on the same campus. They're in a one of the Hudson Alpha buildings, and a lot of their research they do, at least to my primitive scientific mind, a lot of the research that they do appears to be similar to what Hudson Alpha does. Among other things, Discovery is part of a group that is trying to cure cancer. Which in my book just makes them pretty good folks. But they have locations throughout the country, and they have locations across the globe. One of those is in Ukraine, in Kyiv, and they have 64 employees there, or they did before the Russian invasion began. Once the invasion began late last month, Discovery immediately put into action an effort to evacuate all their employees and their employees' families from Ukraine to get them away from that obviously dangerous situation. I spoke with the CEO, Glenn Belowski, late last week, and he told me then that they had removed 20 of the 64 employees, and then I think 24, 26 family members with those 20 employees. And so you're obviously thinking, okay, well, they have 64, they've only got 20 out. A lot of people stayed. A lot of the male employees have taken up arms to fight Russia. Other people, other family members have chosen to stay in Ukraine, either in support of their spouses or just for whatever circumstances. But so far, everyone that has expressed a desire to leave, Discovery has been able to get them evacuated to another country, and that's primarily been Poland. But there's been other countries. But it's a pretty amazing story.
It's an incredible story. You said 64 employees that are working out of that Kyiv location, or were working out of that Kyiv location, I should say. They've managed to evacuate 20 of them. And you said that a few over 20 actually have said that they were not leaving for different circumstances. We know that there are definitely bans here on men between certain ages leaving the country because they are encouraged to fight. So I'm sure that several of those people fall into that category. And then several more, I'm wondering, have they been able to make contact with all 64 employees?
Yes, and I just realized I left that out of the story, which I shouldn't have done. But now they have, of course, this being 2022, they have established an app to connect with all 64 of their employees. So even those that have remained in Ukraine, they are still in contact with them, and uh, there's no one has been injured, no one has been killed, which it to me is just remarkable in and of itself. But this is more than just trying to get people. I mean, they are staying connected. They are not you know you know saying best of luck to those who have chosen to remain behind. They are staying in contact with them. Should those circumstances change with those folks in Ukraine and they want to leave, there will be an infrastructure, a mechanism for to try to get them out. And it's uh, Ivana, you and I, we both work for a great company, and Discovery appears to be another great company. We should all be so blessed to work for such companies.
It's incredible to think that a operation that is so big and is doing such wonderful things, as you said, that neither of us are scientific minds here, but from the basic understanding of working in research and in the search to find cures for diseases like cancer, it's just incredible. And they have a big mission. But the fact that this company has been able to kind of put that aside for 2 seconds and say, look, yes, we have amazing work to do, but we have people that we have to take care of. And I want to talk about the people. Now, we know the CEO has made contact with, I believe, one of their managers in Europe and in the that side of the world. And the CEO said that they talked to that person and they said, look, let's put everything on hold for a second. Hold on. We got to take care of these people. We have to get our people where they need to go. And the CEO told you that the most interesting thing, or at least what I took away is one of the most interesting things, was that the people who even are evacuating, they just want to work. They just want to get back to Discovery Life or to get to a facility where they can do that work for Discovery Life and get a little bit of that normalcy there and use their brilliant scientific minds to put to use and to work. So tell me a little bit about that and about that conversation, what the CEO told you there.
Well, the thing about it is the CEO himself was sort of at once not surprised about this, but at the same time, given the circumstances, kind of amazed. You know, and I know that you may see this on the news or you may read news stories, and I'll be honest, I have followed the situation in Ukraine, but I had not spoken to anyone involved with it until uh, I talked with the folks at Discovery last week, and at least for me, it's amazing how hard it hits you to understand or to try to understand or at least hear an account of what it is like over there. The people here, they best case scenario, they loaded up their car, their spouse, their children, as much stuff as they could squeeze into that car, and they left their life behind. And that would be traumatic, um, just right there. But then you consider that they're going to another country, probably a place I would assume that they're not terribly familiar with. Uh, in some cases, well, in the cases of these people that we're talking about, that are eager to get back to work, we're talking about going to Germany, and the CEO told me, they don't speak German. They don't even know the language. But yet they are wanting to get back to work. I guess it's just a desire to find some sort of normalcy amid a chaotic time. You want to cling to that. You want to have something that's stable in your life, so to speak, I guess. Uh, but yeah, it's just fascinating, and I guess it made such an impression on me that's sort of how we started off the story. We were just talking about these folks, their world has been shattered, and they just want to go to work tomorrow morning. We grop about going to work. It's Monday. It's Monday today. We're back at work, and these folks they'd be excited to have another Monday in their life.
And I love that you said that. And I love that that's the way that you went into the story, saying, look, they want to get back to work. And you're so right. Today is Monday. Story came out yesterday. I was coming back from a vacation. I read this and I was in the middle of thinking, oh, I love my job, but I don't want to go back to work on Monday. We've all felt that, right? And reading your story, you said that so well just here. They would love to have another Monday. of going to work and maybe having 6 cups of coffee in the morning to try to get themselves together. And you mentioned that, and you say that again. You mentioned this in the story that these people said, "Look, I know you're giving us free airfare to wherever we need to go. Get us to Germany, to that laboratory that
Mhm.
Discovery Life works with, so we can work. We don't
Yeah.
need anything. We don't speak the language. We don't need anything fancy. We just want to get there to work." And that's incredible. And I've heard that from people I know in Ukraine, from people on the ground. I have friends in there and family there who say, "Look, we just want to work." I have friends that say, "Look, we are just trying to get on Zoom and do our Zoom calls." And again, I guess presumably to keep that little bit of normalcy that you mentioned. Now, something else, just again, incredible that this company is doing. You mentioned this in your story, and this is how they're helping. And I also want to talk a little bit about how people maybe who don't work for Discovery Life can help. So you had in your story that this is incredible. The CEO is saying that they are matching for every $1 that an employee donates, they're matching up to $3 from employees to go overseas to help the relocation, the evacuation of people in Ukraine. They also are giving free airfare to those people, and there has been outside offers for legal help and other things that
Mhm.
these people might need. Any type of help they might need, seems like Discovery Life is really trying to do. And one thing that I also thought was amazing, and then I'll let you kind of comment on this, was that employees at Discovery Life are giving up their paid time off, giving
Mhm.
parts of their salary, and saying, "Look, give it to the people who need it. They are, if they're not able to work at this moment, give them my salary, give them my earned paid time off." And that's incredible.
Yeah. Well, and not to get just all philosophical about this, but even across the world, in cultures that we're maybe not familiar with, and the language maybe we're not familiar with, the best in people, it's always so heartwarming to see that come out, to see people, trying to help their fellow man, trying to, you know, um, I guess about in Alabama, we've seen it time and time again. A community will be hit by a tornado, and that community just, or people across the state, was pouring into that community to try to help. And this is kind of the same thing. If you could give if you're an employee, you can give a little bit of money, or if you have some, more time off than you could possibly use, think of someone else. Think of something beyond yourself, and it's really beautiful. Like the company, for employee donations, the company is tripling their match. Now they are not doing that match for outside donations, because if you're most optimistic, they're going to get a lot of those donations, and you're talking about more money than probably the company could afford to triple match. But yeah, they really appear to be doing everything that they can to help these people, and it's people in Alabama that are helping out. People across the U.S., people in Germany. It's just really great, and there is information in the story about the nonprofit that they are establishing to accept donations that will go straight to these employees.
Well, and again, I wanted to kind of reiterate that you said that the company is tripling in-house donations. So anybody that works with Discovery Life, they're going to triple outside donations. They are not tripling it. Again, as
Mhm.
you said, presumably they're hoping and expecting a big outpouring of support here, but they are accepting outside donations. So if you do not work for Discovery Life, you can still contribute to this effort to get their employees out of Ukraine, or to help those who are staying for other types of reasons. That is, again, all linked in Paul's story. We're going to leave that linked here in the comments. But Paul, at a time when there is so much, so many sad things going on in the world, this was just a little bit of a light on some good things that are happening, and some good things that people in Alabama are doing for those in Ukraine. And I know that I can speak for a lot of people in saying that it was a good one to read.
Well, and there's a lot of things that go into, quote unquote, evacuating an employee, that maybe we don't think about. Um, I mean, the company's going out and renting apartments for these people to move into. Um, they have charged one of their people in Europe to, look, you have a blank check. Go rent as many places as you can find, and we'll cover it. So that's the kinds of things where they need money. These people, they need clothes, they'll need food. We're talking about just all they have in their life at best is their car packed with their family and whatever they could squeeze in there.
You're so right. This is going to be a huge effort here. Discovery Life really stepping up to that plate and taking on that challenge. So again, more information about Discovery Life, about what they are doing, this Huntsville-based company is doing for their Ukrainian employees. That is all in Paul's story. They're going to link here, and also information about how you can help. So Paul, thank you again for writing this story, for shining a light on this, and thank you for sharing it here with us today.
Well, I'm always glad to talk to y'all, and like I said, it's a pretty moving thing.
Paul, thank you so much. Everybody watching, thank you.